Welcome to our podcast on our channel Mustard Seed, where small seeds of truth grow into big ideas of faith. I am Shivanshu and I'm so glad you are here. Today, we are diving into a verse that challenges us to look at the world around us with fresh eyes. Romans 1:20. It says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, His eternal power, and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." In the preceding verses, Paul talks about the wrath of God revealed against mankind's rejection of Him. And in this verse, Paul reveals something very profound about God. The verse says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities are clearly seen, and these invisible qualities are eternal power and divine nature." Now, pay attention. The verse is saying that these two attributes are invisible attributes. And then it says that these invisible attributes are actually visible or seen in the things that have been created, or can be understood from what has been made. Meaning that invisible godly qualities, eternal power, and divine nature are actually visible in and through creation. And not only they are visible, but they can also be understood from the creation. Let us look at some of the conclusions that we can make from the verse. Every or anything which is made presupposes a maker, and it reveals and speaks something about it. But the question arises, how can things or that which has been made make us understand the qualities or attributes of the maker? Is it possible? Let us contemplate this a little further, considering an example. When we see a fresh, well-made loaf of bread, we can infer several things about the person who made it. 1. Skill and experience. The texture, rise, and crust of the bread could suggest that the baker understands the science of fermentation, kneading, and baking temperatures. 2. Patience and timing. Bread making requires waiting for the dough to rise, so a good loaf implies that the baker exercised patience and knew the right moment to act. 3. Attention to detail. If the bread has a decorative design or precise scoring, we can deduce that the baker cares about presentation and aesthetics. 4. Knowledge and wisdom. The proper balance of ingredients like flour, water, yeast, and salt shows the baker's knowledge of the craft. 5. Love and care. Homemade bread often reflects a personal touch, suggesting that the baker put love and care into the process. Or if the loaf is for business, we can deduce the baker's intention about the bread is to sell and make money. Looking at the loaf of bread, we can conclude or find out something about the baker, his nature, his intentions, his purpose for the loaf, his likes or preferences, etc. Now, let us try to understand what could it mean and how the creation reveals about the Creator according to Romans 1:20. Creation is a form of general revelation, meaning God is revealed universally through nature, accessible to all people, regardless of their faith or background. God's eternal power can be seen in the vastness and complexity of the creation, which is the universe and everything in it, and beyond if there is. And His divine nature can be perceived as reflected in beauty, order, and the moral intuition humans possess. Looking at the night sky, the sheer number of stars in the universe, billions in our galaxy alone, can evoke awe and wonder. Psalms 19:1 echoes this truth. The heavens declare the glory of God. Across cultures, humans have a shared sense of right or wrong, often aligning with biblical principles like justice and mercy. This moral awareness could be a reflection of God's divine nature imprinted on our conscience through His creation, and the fine-tuning of the universe, which refers that the laws of the universe are precisely set to allow for the existence of life. This precision suggests that even slight changes in these laws would make life impossible. For example, the Big Bang had to occur with a precise amount of energy and density for the universe to evolve as it has. The forces of nature like gravity, electromagnetism, strong and weak nuclear forces must be balanced to allow for atoms, molecules, and complex structures to form, and thus to sustain life. If the strong nuclear force were slightly weaker or stronger, protons and neutrons wouldn't bind together and no atoms would form. The same goes for the gravitational pull which the planets and stars exerts on each other. A slight change in the gravitational pull and the whole complex system of stars, galaxies, etc. would crumble down. It is just what it is supposed to be. The precision of such conditions is often seen as a reflection of a creator who is intentional and purposeful in setting the universe's parameter which supports life on earth. This visible order and complexity of creation testifies to God's invisible qualities of eternal power and divine nature, leaving people without excuse. However, the Bible in Colossians 1:15 says that Jesus is the visible image of God. Though in Jesus God is fully revealed, but he has also left his footprints in the creation he has created, and they are clearly visible. The truth that in and through the creation God is revealed can change how we see and what we think about the world around us and also about us. God's eternal power and divine nature are visible in creation, even though God himself was invisible. Lastly, I would want to encourage you all to take a moment whenever you step outside and look for God in the world around you, whether it's the stars, the trees, or the intricacies of a flower, or a complex and weird fellow human being. Let it remind you of our God who is revealed through his creation, such as these. Think about that for a moment. Every tree that bears fruit, every grain of wheat that grows from the soil, every sunrise that lights up the sky, each one of these things points to the reality of a creator. Just like a beautiful loaf of bread reveals the care and patience of a baker, creation reveals the wisdom, power, and love of God. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Romans 1:20. I hope it has inspired and blessed you to see the world differently. This is Shivanshu, and you have been listening to our podcast on our channel Mustard Seed. If you enjoyed and are blessed by today's podcast and are encouraged, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep growing together in faith. See you next time, and God bless. Thank you.